Hello, nice to see you again. My name is Rifqi Kamil. Today we will talk about the brief history of the Dragoons. Dragoons originally were a class of mounted infantry who used horses for mobility but dismounted to fight on foot. From the early 18th century onward, dragoons were increasingly also employed as conventional cavalry, trained for combat with swords from horseback. Dragoon regiments were established in most European armies during the late 17th and early 18th century. The name is derived from a type of firearm called a dragoon, which was a handgun version of a blunderbuss carried by dragoons of the French army. Early dragoons were not organized in squadrons or troops as were cavalry, but in companies like the infantry. Their officers and non-commissioned officers bore infantry rank. Dragoons regiment used drummers, not buglers, to communicate order on the battlefield. The flexibility of mounted infantry made dragoons a useful arms, especially when employed for what would now be termed as internal security against smugglers or civil unrest, and on line of communication security duties. Dragoons were at disadvantage when engaged against true cavalry, and constantly sought to improve their horsemanship, armament, and social status. By the 7 Years' War, the primary role of dragoons in most European armies had progressed from that of mounted infantry to that of heavy cavalry. An exception to the rule was the British Army. To reduce military budgets, all cavalry regiments were gradually demoted to dragoons from 1746 onward, which meant they were paid on a lower scale. When this was completed in 1788, the heavy cavalry regiments had become either dragoon guards or heavy dragoons, depending on their presidents. This is the 1796 Heavy Dragoons Carabine. This carabine was equipped with a 38 cm bayonet which weighed 13 ounces. It was presumably for combat at close quarters or when needed in an emergency. It was also issued with a cartridge pouch with roller barrels which held 30 rounds. This 19 mm ammunition would serve both the Heavy Dragoon carbine and the Heavy Dragoon pistol, reducing the likelihood of putting the wrong ammunition in the wrong weapon. This pattern 1796 Heavy Dragoon carbine was used by the British Royal Dragoons. This is a saber, the pattern 1796 light cavalry saber. This kind of sword is the one that commonly used by the dragoons. This is a British saber because the British mounted swordsmanship training is emphasized in cut. There is a curve on this saber, unlike the modern saber that is more straight. Thank you for watching the video. This is Rifqi Kamil, and I hope you learned something new about the dragoons, their weapons, and their use in the battlefield. I hope I can see you next time, guys. Thank you.